Kia ora, Air New Zealand whānau. I wanted to be able to talk with you about my decision tonight to resign from my position as CEO of Air New Zealand. Now, the significance for me in resigning today is that it was in fact 7 years ago to the very day when I was announced as the new CEO of Air New Zealand. And I feel incredibly proud of all that we have done together over those last 7 years. Now, I know I'll leave the company in a much stronger position commercially because we've grown our customer base and our network. We've grown the value of the company and we've generated strong returns for our investors. And we've strengthened our balance sheet so that we can compete and we can invest confidently. I also know I'll leave the company in a much stronger position with our customers and our stakeholders. We've spent billions of dollars investing in new fleet and lounges. We formed the customer experience function and the digital organisations to help overcome travel pain points. And our customer satisfaction hit all-time highs, an unbelievable 7 times the global industry average and 3 times the Star Alliance airline average. And a real highlight has been holding the #1 position for corporate reputation and trust for 5 years in New Zealand and the last 3 years in Australia. And that means that the public trusts us and they trust our values to ultimately do the right thing. And that to me is the ultimate test. And I know I'll leave the business with a stronger culture. We introduced performance management and leadership programs, and we pioneered high performance engagement with our union partners and chose to pay unionised workers a company performance bonus. We improved our health and safety record, and all of this resulted in us being voted the #1 place people in New Zealand want to work for the last 7 years. But I'm actually most proud of our progress to ensure that Air New Zealand is much more diverse and inclusive. We're now more gender representative, with 44% of our top senior leadership team positions being held by women, up from 16%. We pay women the same as men doing exactly the same job, as everyone frankly should. And now we have a leading 26-week paid parental leave policy too. We're now also more ethnically diverse, and we've worked really hard to champion and to mainstream te reo and now tā moko. We've built transformational strategic partnerships with iwi like Ngāti Porou, and we have the programs in place to ensure that Māori and Pacifica employees and leadership rises from 15% currently to 20% by 2022. And in the last 7 years, we've focused on a higher purpose of supercharging New Zealand's success economically, socially, and environmentally. And this has put sustainable development at the very heart of our organisation, believing that we can play our part as New Zealand's leading business in strengthening the society we're part of, alongside the work of government and community organisations. Reflecting on all that we have achieved together, I do want to be able to thank a few people. I want to thank the chairs and the directors of the board that I've worked with so closely in setting the strategic direction of this company. I also want to thank the executive teams, both past and present, because it's been a real pleasure to have been a leader of what I think is a team of exceptional and talented individual leaders. To my executive assistant, Zelda Madgwick, who runs the office of the CEO and has been such a professional partner and support, and to all of her team of executive assistants who are all so incredibly diligent and hardworking, thank you. And I want to say thank you to all of you Air New Zealanders for the conversations, for the cards, for the emails that actually encouraged me in the tough times. Thank you for the kindness and the compassion that you showed me right from my very first day here, and for the rosary beads and the Christmas cakes and the gifts that you've sent me over that time. And finally, I want to thank Amanda and our children, William and Olivia. It would have been impossible to do this job without their total support, their understanding, and their love of me. Now, many of you know I met my wife Amanda when I was 15 years old, and we've been a total team that's been doing life together ever since. And I think convincing her to marry me was without doubt the greatest achievement of my life. She's my best friend and she's my rock. She's really smart and wise, she's grounded and strong, stunningly beautiful and really funny. So thank you, Amanda, for going on this journey with me too. And I have absolutely loved the responsibility and the experience of leading this company. It has been intellectually challenging, it's been people-centred, and it's been an absolute privilege to do the job. But I do feel it is the right time for a new leader to take over and preserve and enhance the good things from our past, but also to put their own stamp on the organisation, bringing their own personality and emphasis to the role as I did. Because there will always be new and evolving commercial and competitive realities to face up to. There'll be more perfection of the customer journey and the removal of pain points to deliver. and there'll be the development of a new generation of leaders to imagine and lead this great company. It's kind of been that way for the last 80 years at Air New Zealand, and it's going to be that way yet again. So what happens next? Well, the board will work through a succession plan, and I'm confident the opportunity to lead New Zealand's most iconic company will attract many great candidates, both internationally and within New Zealand. I'll stay in my role as CEO until the 25th of September, and then I'll move to advising and supporting the incoming chair and the new CEO so that we have a seamless transition. Now, I know I'm going to get asked a lot of questions about where to next for me, so I'm keen to be quite upfront about that. Obviously, job number one is to stay really focused and to finish strongly at Air New Zealand so that we are set up for more success going forward. And then I'm going to take the summertime to refresh and to recharge and then to reflect on what I will do next. I'm now 48 years old, and Amanda and I are at an interesting time in our life. Our children, William and Olivia, will both have finished high school, and so we'll have a new degree of freedom, including career choices. And thus, I'd like to think more about how I can best use my skills, abilities, and experience to make a further contribution to the success of New Zealand, whether that be through corporate life, a non-profit, or politics. Now, we'll have plenty of time for farewells in the coming months, and I'll meet with many of you as I move around the business. But in the interim, the very best thing that you can do for me is keep working hard and to ensure that FY20 gets off to a fabulous start. Can I say thanks again for all of your support, your faith, and your encouragement of me. And mā te wā.